Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. We have the daunting task of summarizing several hours of preparation on upstream, midstream, downstream, Saudi Arabia, other frontier jurisdiction into 20 minutes of Q&A, so I'll dive right into it. Maybe with you, Fahad. Thank you, a pleasure to have you here. We've heard several times of the potential of Saudi Arabia, of different critical minerals or precious metals. You work into the limestone sector in Saudi Lime. Can you tell us about your experience in Saudi Arabia and some maybe recommendations for other companies interested in the country?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be there with you. Actually, for the Saudi lime, yes, the main focus or the main raw material, it's a limestone. And this is limestone, it's mainly make a significant for our product. The value of a product, the quality. So the exploration of Saudi Arabia and Saudi Arabia, it's required to focus also mainly in the main data analysis and whatever need to be able to do the survey, geological survey, also the drilling. This is the part it's can be emphasized for all the company to be able to put their plan and rehabilitation plan, and also this is a continual process for any industry, especially in our sector.
Oh, very good. Maybe turning to you, I mean, Saudi Gold Refinery has an ambitious program of exploration in the kingdom, but you also have experience around the globe. We've listened to the political commitment of Saudi Arabia, but there's other elements that makes a successful exploration campaign. Can you share your experience maybe on this, on technology and others?
Yeah, let me try to not sound like a paid promoter for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia too much, but as you rightly said, spent the last decade working with a lot of governments, preparing market entries, and some of which were a bit easier and some of which were a bit more difficult, but it's typically not the top level, so everyone is very welcome if you're offering foreign direct investments into the country. Where it becomes a bit more difficult is on the second and third level, on the working level, where you have to follow up, where you have to get the million things right to enable a market entry. And I would like to pinpoint maybe on a few topics that the kingdom does especially right. And it sounds really banal or even small things, but these are the ones that really make a difference. For example, having a point of contact, understanding who are you dealing with, who should you be dealing with, which are the various ministries or government bodies that you have to deal with, and navigating the bureaucracy that you're having. It's about the availability of data, having an up-to-date cadastre where you can say, well, this is the licenses owned by this company that I can partner up, and this one is maybe available for going myself. Sharing geological data. Some geological surveys, and especially African countries I experience, are very secretive, holding on to it, and you have to make an appointment, and it's not digital and it's on paper. So it's really about thinking about what are the quick wins that make the life of a foreign direct investor easier to enable the investment and the market entry.
That's great. I'll stay with you for the next question. Maybe one of the unique things that I've seen in Kingdom compared to other jurisdictions where we work is that capacity of working from upstream to midstream, downstream, down to OEM, this integrated vision of value chains and how to develop this at the same time in the kingdom. How can this serve as blueprint for other jurisdiction? What is the different way you've been working in other places?
Yeah, I usually show the example of the iPhone. Probably everyone has one of these, or any other smartphone. I just dropped my mic, so excuse me for that. So this phone typically costs maybe $1,000, $1,500. The materials of it is $150, $200. The battery is about $20, and the cobalt in the phone is about $3. A material that comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo, where I worked a lot. And that gives you a feeling of how much value basically goes back into a country. Without the phone would never exist. And of course, governments now have a strong interest in creating downstream industry and capturing that value in the country itself. Now, that increases the risk of resource nationalism, parallel value chains, and ultimately killing competition and market investments. So the right thing to capture most of the value chain is creating the right environment for people to build downstream. And that starts with having a realistic expectation of the domestic feed. If you don't have the feed, there's no point in building a downstream. It may be on a global scale more beneficial to refine it where the capacity is built. it comes to critical infrastructure, roads, power, skilled labor, and so on and so forth. So it's really on the host governments to build that capacity in conjunction with the industry to foster that and capture more value in the country.
We talk about capturing value. There's an element which is very important also for modern mining, obviously sustainability. And I was actually very impressed the first time we have a conversation, Fad, and usually I'm the one pushing for ESG, but immediately you started talking about sustainability in your process and the way that you actually manufacture limestone compared to other countries. Can you actually give your experience on this and maybe your view on how Saudi integrate those questions of sustainable mining into the entire development of the chain?
Yeah, we believe in the sustainability for our company, and this is a model. Yani, it's all the company, especially in this industrial, they need a lot of maybe a bit challenge for the some industrial, old industrial, which we are almost 47 years. But with the new technology, it will be better than to set a KPI and action plan for that to be able to match with the requirement of the environment, with requirement also the operation efficiency, able to switch to the other gas, whatever. This is an initiative from the government to be able to support this company to be able to rid of the liquid gas, which will be impacting the carbon dioxide. It's a long journey. What we hear from also the clarity of the standard give us at least more movement to be able to achieve our goal with the vision of Saudi Arabia.
That's good. Maybe something interesting. I got into a friendly argument with Ross Beatty yesterday in a room when he was talking about Saudi Arabia 15 years ago and the issues that he was facing then. I was trying to explain that Saudi today is different from Saudi 15 years ago. The incentive is to work with international partners to facilitate international investment. How do you work also in your sector with international clients, with international technology? How do you include those partnership into your business model?
Yeah, this is one of the core KPI or core focus in our company. This is a human capital and the knowledge of the other expertise people. We believe in that. We are always talking about industrial, and this is engagement with other industrial, especially with the global company, which already they are able to match some regulatory ESG compliant, and this is give us more focus on some let us to say product initiative product to be able to test it in our company. In line with other technology, we are able to also switch to the automation system with the old system, and this is a support. If in that, it's government support for those old company in this one.
Okay, very good. Still in that idea of integration and building of value across the supply chain, when you see the effort that Saudi Arabia has done, you see other efforts and the increase of resource nationalism, increase of protectionism, most recently the new tariffs between China and the US, that effort from Saudi to actually build those mineral processing hubs, how do you see it in terms of competition with other similar efforts and looking at especially the resource geopolitics angle into this?
Yeah, geopolitics sounds like such a nice word, but effectively it's a war for minerals that's breaking out, and we build parallel value chains. Trade wars. I don't think that's the answer to it. So the answer must be different. And it's a difficult question because I don't have the answer to it, how to resolve it. But I fundamentally believe is we have built a lot of capacity across the entire value chain in various regions, and we all as a global community, we would like to achieve the net zero goals. There's no discussion around that. So the collaboration across the value chain, instead of building parallel value chains and trying to get their grasp is the most important thing. I believe the answer lies somewhere in leveling the playing field and making sure that everyone plays by the rules that we set ourselves. I think that's beyond what a nation can do itself because it involves everyone. So it requires the industry to organize themselves, and you have, for example, something like the Global Battery Alliance that is involving the private and the public sector that is exactly doing that. creating a framework and also excluding people that do not play by the rules. So I think we need to work closer with that. I see Saudi Arabia being part of that, and I hope that we can find a good consent in not creating resource nationalism and in the kingdom.
Very good. A similar question, returning that to you. I mean, when you look at capturing the value in these discussions in Saudi Arabia about silicate, about other form of minerals and limestone also, about being better value products and competing against China on those elements. How do you when you look at, we mentioned green limestone, we mentioned the inclusion of sustainability in your business model. How do you position Saudi lime in terms of potential competition with other actors on this one?
Actually, we are participant in this journey. We believe in our commitment. We believe in our human capital society. We are also working together with ministry, with other related. There is a lot of changing in culture, changing in human understanding, and also the implementation of the rule in Saudi Arabia. It's become known for people, and the communication with the all parties can be happening. There is a lot of change even in the attitude of some company, attitude of the exploration company. They are looking for more transparency, more technology advance to be able to support all this innovation in Saudi Arabia.
And to build on this and link it with the 2030 vision, one key risk for international investors, mining companies, to be able to mitigate political risk, instability, and others. I'm French. We don't even know if we're going to have the same government by the end of the week, and it's going to be turning around. That's not the case in Saudi Arabia. What do you see that development of the mining sector as part of that overall comprehensive vision of changing the kingdom? With mining being the third pillar of the economy, what's your perception as an operator?
Yeah, what we think from the global also, the challenge, especially in the mining sector, it's more than challenging in Saudi Arabia. We believe what we have also exposure to the global company. They are having more difficulty in Saudi Arabia. Okay, Saudi Arabia, they are making some initiative, a lot of support from different sector, especially in the government. I believe it's going well, more concentrated, focused. This is giving more ability to solve any resistance or challenge happening in the coming years. And still there is a minerals, a lot of resource in Saudi Arabia. With aligning of the also logistic part in Saudi Arabia, getting more solution, we are always seeing some improvement in the coming and short term.
Very good. Maybe since you have quite the experience in Saudi and others, and from the outsider perspective, you see Saudi Arabia's assets compared to others. You see, movements of different trade tariffs in the UK or others. What is the unique competitiveness of the Saudi jurisdiction, and how can this maybe serve as a blueprint for other developments instead of just looking at competition between resources and critical mineral security of supply?
Yeah, let me come back to the point on competition that you
Please
mentioned. Around 197, if I'm not mistaken, mines came online in the past 10 years. At the same time, if you trust the analyst, the battery materials demand has to quadruple to 6x to achieve our net zero goals. We have around 300 mines in feasibility study, if you believe Capital IQ and Standard & Poor's database. And they all need to come online to achieve our goals, which is challenging itself. Yeah. So I don't believe that there is competition here. There's for sure a bit of competition in grasping the best assets, but ultimately mining is a team sport. We need to massively compress the development times, which have increased by around 25% to about more than 15 years and 18 years in copper if you compare it to 10 years ago. This is a very concerning development. So for me that means we need to be quicker in development, and we need to get the best people around the planet together to work on it. And that is not only people, but it's companies, that's that's also companies in different sectors, being in technology, being in AI, being it all the topics that you see, get them all around the table to do that. And coming back to Saudi Arabia, when you look at, so mining is the third pillar itself, which means there's other pillars as well. So it's a holistic approach of transforming the entire ecosystem, the entire economy, diversifying away from oil only. And that is, I think, the exact right approach, getting people around the table.
That's very good. We just have a couple of minutes left, and I just want to make sure to allow you to just also address, maybe some final thoughts. It's very interesting to actually see Saudi Lime coming to Resourcing tomorrow and sponsor that panel. Where do you see the interest of partnering with British audience or other international players, and what would you want to bring to the attention of our audience here in terms of the future of Saudi Lime in Saudi Arabia and overall mining sector?
Yeah, we are as a part, especially in Saudi Lime, we are almost producing lime. And this is lime, its main value for all the, especially industrial, especially steel industrial, sugar industrial, معادن. This is a value gain for this product to be able to produce it in the quality wise, and this is give a prod for Saudi Lime to be able to increase their reliability, with also there is also dependability for people for good production in that side. We are aiming to be also consolidate, or we are able to alignment with a global company for this product to be able to increase the value chain for this product in Saudi Arabia.
And I think that's, before you final, I think that's fascinating to just point on the fact that it's not only about exploration and resource in the Arabian Mid-Shield, but what's happening in the kingdom today is really about building partnership across the transformation chains. There's more and more actors into processing, into chemistry sectors, into other sectors that want to build some alternative in this geopolitical competition by placing Saudi Arabia at this processing hub. And whether it's limestone or other sectors, I think you would be a key actor there. Jonathan, can I give you the responsibility of maybe the concluding remarks and what you would want to bring to the attention of our audience on this panel, please?
Concluding remarks?
Yes, or any final words that you would have.
Time flies when you're having fun. No, I came to the kingdom 2.5 years ago. I'm very excited. I think this is one of the most interesting jurisdictions for mining in the industry. And I would come from the mineral systems approach, and there's probably 4 areas that I think is most exciting. One is the Arabian-Nubian Shield, where we're host. I think the next growth we will see on the orogenic belt, Afghanistan, Pakistan. I'm very excited about the Lufullian Arc and the Copper Belt, Zambia and Congo. But it also shows very much that the mines of the future will not come from the countries where it's convenient to operate. It will come from where the best geology is.
No, I think we had here a very good panel of expressing, key nationals and nationals investing in the mining sector and the seasoned professional that knows several jurisdictions. This is what we've seen over the last 3-4 years of that revolution in mining in Saudi Arabia, has been the capacity to build those consortium and to develop the capacity of the kingdom to be a real player in the processing hub chain across the globe. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me. And please, if you could actually join me thanking our panelists. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for a